What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Breakdown with Bonds. I'm your host, Coach Bonds, and today we're talking about a pretty boring topic, in my opinion, but it's also one that is so important and so many people skip over it. So before we even dive into the topic today, which is meal prepping, I want to lay the law, which is what I do a lot, so that y'all understand where I'm coming from. Okay, when it comes to your fitness journey, there's one thing that you cannot override, and that is your nutrition. Many women have decided that they were going to try to intuitively eat or not track at all or eyeball it or just do their own thing and you just give me the workouts, coach. And I wish y'all could feel like the steam coming through my ears right now and people are like, just give me the workouts, coach. Because I'm like, if all you needed was the workouts, boo, TikTok would have had you, Instagram would have had you, all these YouTube, there's no end to the workouts. So when people come to me knowing that I'm the triad, right? I'm a coach, I'm a health coach, I'm a nutritionist, I'm a trainer, like I got you, sis. And they're like, nah, I just want your workouts. I'm like, low-key flattered because like, okay, great, my workouts are great, but also I'm so frustrated because I'm like, that's not all that you need. Imagine, let's say you work in law, like my girlfriend and my sister, they work in law. My sister's an attorney, my girlfriend's a paralegal. And imagine if people came to them for a consult, like, hey, I'm getting a divorce. And then they tell them how much it costs, they tell them what it needs, and people are like, you know what, just give me the paperwork, I'll file it on my own. And the lawyers are sitting there like, will you? Because they pay me hundreds of dollars an hour to do this. And my girlfriend's looking like, will you? Because this junk is so hard. Like I had to, like, what? So it's interesting when people assume like all I need is workouts. No, baby, all you do not need is workouts. Most Americans need an entire lifestyle change, which is why I'm going so hard for this holistic health thing. I don't care if people took the name back and when you think of holistic, you think of raw milk, or when you think of holistic, you think of people that just listen to sound baths, which I do, or meditate only, which I do, and don't, enjoy themselves. That's crazy. Holistic just means all of you. So when you hire a trainer and you go to the gym, you think that you're only hiring a trainer for workouts because that's the way capitalism has kind of trained you to think. You go here to get this thing, you go here to get this thing, you go here to get this thing. Why? So many other different people have a shot of making money from you. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but what I'm saying is drop this idea that your trainer can only give you trainer tips. For a long time, that was actually how we did things. Like it was out of a trainer's scope of practice to give, and it still is, to give them meal plans. Nobody but a registered dietitian should be giving like this is how many grams you should eat of this, like a really strict meal plan. What we can give you guys is meal guides or templates, or hey, this is what a day of eating could look like. This is what it looks like to get 180 grams. But we can't legally be like, you need to eat this, you know what I'm saying? So I understand why people think, I'm just going to come to you, get the workouts. But listen to me. If all you needed was just the workouts, you would be set, because there's no end of workouts that are for free 99 on the internet. So let's get past this idea that all you need is someone to show you how to work out, because that's a lie from the pit of hell. And yes, I used to be big into church, and those are the phrases we use. So anywho, number one, you cannot out-train your poor diet. We're on the same page? We're on the same page. Okay, cool. Let me slide through my notes. All right, so let me talk to you real quick about another reason why we get stuck on this idea that we can just out-train our poor diet. I'm the slow and steady queen, right? But slow and steady is also a trap. The reason why slow and steady is a trap is because you have it in this head. You're like, Coach Bond said, I don't got to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. So I'm going to take it slow and I'm going to do it. Yeah, so that means I don't got to watch what I'm eating because Coach Bond said I could. No, I never said that. I never. If you are a friend of a friend that's a client, or you're a friend of one of my clients and you're looking like, why her scale ain't moving, that's because your friend didn't want to track food. Point blank simple. Like if you have a friend that is either my client or anybody else's client, 9 times out of 10, if you see them working out and they're busting ass and they're doing all the things they're supposed to, and they're pushing themselves, right? The way they should be pushing themselves in the gym and not just doing it for the gram, right? If they're consistently doing those things and not just taking that one video, that one day a week that they work out, if they're consistent in the program that they've given and they're not seeing results, it's usually because they are missing one of the 3 pieces of the stool, right? You got your workouts, you got your nutrition, Mindset is the biggest driver of them all. And if your mindset has told you that you get to eat whatever you want because you work out for an hour a week, then do you see where the problem is? This slow and steady idea has a lot of people thinking, well, because I don't need to see progress on the scale, I'm not going to look for progress on the scale. And unfortunately, this is what a lot of women fall into this trap of, because it's slow and steady, then that means that I'm not going to be seeing any progress on the scale. So that means that I don't even need to be watching the scale. So I'm not watching the scale. I'm just going to keep eating out and feel good about myself, because working out does make you feel good. It does make you feel strong. It does make you feel like a badass. But then when you go get on the scale and you're like, well, why the fuck this shit ain't moving? The shit ain't moving because you're not doing the rest of your homework. And going back to that whole an hour a week thing, for some people, 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the gym is their max. And if they're working out twice a week, that's where I got that hour from. But I really need you to think about 30 minutes of your day and how you spend the other 23 hours and 30 minutes. Most of us spend about 8 hours laying in the bed, not moving, so your body doesn't have to work really hard. And then the other, let's say another 8-hour chunk, another 30 of your day is spent seated. Okay, so that means that there's another whole 8-hour chunk in there, and only one of those hours, if you work out for an hour, is used exercising. This is for people that sit. If you are a server, and I want to touch on that real quick. If you're a server, or someone that walks for a living, you will have a much easier time losing weight than someone who sits for the most of their days. Because just in general, your body doesn't have the amount of stimulus on a regular basis as someone who's more active. So just keep that in mind. So reality check. If the scale's not moving in your check-ins, go look at your food. Pay attention to your food. A stick of butter is 100 calories for every slice. One whole stick of butter is 800 calories. I can melt that shit, put it in your food, and you would never know that I added an additional 800 calories to your food. So that's why I get so mad at people and they're like, well, I don't want to track. And I'm like, well, how would you know, right? You're at the restaurant, you're eating your beautiful dinner. You're like, oh my God, this is so healthy because the chicken was grilled. Little do you know that the chicken was like marinated in butter all night. Don't freak out about what your chickens are marinated in. I'm just giving you an example. Oh my gosh, this is so much healthy because the chicken was grilled. Right, but you got that white wine pasta cream sauce on the top. And heavy whipping cream is just straight heavy whipping cream, which is lots of calories. So all you people are just eyeballing food. That's crazy. That's like saying you're going to eyeball weed and you never sold weed. That's like saying you're going to eyeball $1 million and you've never seen $1 million. Like, what are you talking about? So yeah, please stop that. That's a reality check I need some of y'all to hear. The next reality check is going to hurt a little bit. And this almost seems like a tough love Tuesday. My bad. You know, sweet potatoes have little strings in them sometimes. So annoying. Anywho, the next thing, where we at? The hormone trap. We already had the slow and steady trap for why you don't need to track food. Then we have the hormone excuse spiral, which is where the internet, and I'm guilty of this, in an effort to try to alleviate some of the shame that our clients are putting on themselves for not being able to lose weight as fast as the people who are like me, who lost weight fast because they had an active job and they're tall, and you know what I'm saying? And in an effort to alleviate some of the psychological damage that was happening to our clients and to just regular people online looking at fitness influencers, we started to, hey, it's not just calories in, calories out. It really fucking is, but there's a lot of factors, obviously. It's kind of like saving money isn't just dollars in, dollars out. Yes, the fuck it is. Like, yes, the fuck it is. Yes, the fuck it is. Now, there are factors that may keep me from being able to save my money, like the fact that you get punished for being poor. You're late on your bill, that's another $100. You can't do this, we're going to fine you. You get punished for being poor, and it's the same thing in weight loss. You get punished for not paying attention to the minutia. And so, here we go. In an effort to alleviate some of that pain, we started bringing up some of the factors that would play a role in why people can't be in a calorie deficit. Kind of like when people just say poor people should just work harder and pull themselves up by their bootstrap. Activist Bond is going to be like, hi, hello, do you know what circumstances people are under as to why they can't always pay their bills? And you think it's because they had one Starbucks a month, or you think it's because they bought soda with their food stamps that they can't pay their $200 light bill? You see what I'm saying? Like, I will always go to bat for the working person. And so when I saw how many of my clients, when I used to have a client of like the client community of like 30 to 50 women, and there'd be like 3 all-stars kicking ass, and then everybody else is on the struggle bus, I was like, all right, let's zoom out and let's look at some of the other factors as to why people aren't losing weight the same way other people are. And you get things like hormones, right? Especially if you're a woman, especially if you have PCOS or endometriosis or anything that affects your reproductive area system, because as a woman, your whole body, unfortunately, kind of runs off of that bad boy. And so when that bad boy has some issues or just it's off balance or whatever, like it's going to affect your metabolic processes, or at the very least, it's going to affect your mindset and your state of mind, which is going to impact how you do other things. I'm going to try to stay focused on this, and I'm going to try my best not to make anyone, listen, I'm not here to coddle you guys. I got to give you science, and I love you, but I got to give you the science. Stress, hormones, insulin resistance, and PCOS, these are very real things that can impact someone's ability to lose weight. It does not impact their ability to eat, in a calorie deficit. It does not. Having PCOS does not affect your ability to be in a calorie deficit. Having insulin resistance does not affect your ability to follow a meal plan that puts you in a calorie deficit. I need y'all all to understand that with me. And I hate to be that person to do that to you, but I was also the coach on the other side of this. It was like, you got PCOS, baby, it's gonna be harder. You got insulin resistance, baby, it's gonna be harder. These things are true. I was a single mom. I had a kid at 14. It's going to be hard for me to get a college degree, but I did. And I'm not saying that to put you guys down, but I'm saying it because sometimes a coach has to be a coach, and I need y'all to be real with yourselves about what you are allowing to get in the way of you, which is why I'm here, because a lot of us have allowed gym bro culture, MAGA, red pill content, toxic people, gym mean girls, whatever, to be the reason why we don't have a hold of our health. They do make it harder. They do make it more uncomfortable, and nobody wants to fucking be there around them. However, the fact of the matter is, they're not hindering your ability to use those machines. Do you see where I'm going with this? So here's the thing. Your hormones, aside from stuff that is already there, like a PCOS diagnosis or like stuff like that, when it comes to other people who've never gotten their blood work done, who are saying that they have a hormonal imbalance, for you guys, this is what I want to shed some light on. Because people do this with the whole, have depression, so I have a chemical imbalance. I'm like, hi, hello. Diagnosed with manic depression, bipolar disorder when I was 12 years old, and I have not been on any meds for that since I was 12. So if anybody understands a chemical imbalance, it's me. But that doesn't stop the fact that there are certain lifestyle things that I have to have in place to make sure, like, hey, my chemicals may dip down. When something is sad, it may make me sadder than it might make everybody else, and I might start spiraling down. If something is great, I may get a little high on that greatness and be higher than everybody else, and maybe high for a few years and may start a whole business on that high. Who knows? But my point is, there's certain things I have to do for my lifestyle to make sure that this chemical imbalance that I have doesn't just go off the rails. And that includes getting sunlight. That's why I got a dog, so I would have to get up and go walk every single day. Drinking water so that my body isn't gasping for air. Like, yes, your chemicals are out of whack, but then your body doesn't even have water. Remember the car analogy, right? Like, yeah, you may be low on transmission fluid, but bitch, do you even have any gas? Like, can we start there? Same thing. And so where was I at? Hormones. Okay, so yeah, even though these chemical imbalances and hormonal imbalances are very real, I need you to understand that the way your body works, it's not separate. It's not like there's a hormone department and then there's a reproductive department and then there's a digestive department. And like, yes, they're all separate, but they all run on the same operating system. So if you're not feeding yourself enough, and if you miss this analogy, I'll give it to you again. It's my favorite one. If you're not giving your body enough nutrients, and your body's like, well, your reproductive system needs 50 calories a day, and your brain needs 100 calories a day to do all the stuff on the computer, and you work out, so you need an additional 400 calories for those 400 calories that you're going to burn in the gym. And then you see what I'm saying? Your body requires energy in the form of nutrients. And there are some of us who eat the standard American diet, which essentially means you don't get a lot of nutrients. You get a lot of calories in the form of sugar and butter and things that taste real good. But as far as nutrients, we're talking about fiber, we're talking about vitamins, we're talking about the stuff that makes you have the energy to work out. You're not getting a lot of them because you may be eating a lot of very convenient and very highly palatable foods. Highly palatable just means it tastes good. And if it tastes good and it's cheap and it's convenient, duh, like this is why we're here. And if we're all overworked and nobody knows how to cook and nobody likes to cook, boom, this is how we got here. And it's hard to get out of this cycle because one, you got to be aware that it's happening. And then the next step, which is, oh my God, so hard, you got to take the action. And so it's hard to take action when you're too tired to work out, you're too tired to do this, you're too broke to do this, or you know what I'm saying? Like it compounds until you're just like, fuck it, YOLO. And that's where a lot of Americans are. And I want to give you my really quick formula for meal prepping. Hold on, where we at? Nutrition Foundation. Yeah, I've already talked about this. Yeah, so we're almost to the end of the podcast. Where if you're not eating properly, you can expect your body to respond accordingly. So if you're always achy, if you're always painy, if you're all, you know what I'm saying? Like you can start to pay attention to how your diet impacts your physical life. I made on my stories, it's on Facebook and it's on Instagram, where I went to the gym, maybe TikTok too, where I went to the gym today and I was squatting a weight that usually isn't a problem for me. And I went down and I felt that hamstring be like, and this is the last one you'll do today. And we put that barbell back up on the rack. And it was like, what's going on, girl? And I thought about it. I was like, all right, so this isn't a lack of sleep. Like, I'm not tired. I don't feel weak. Like, I physically feel like I could go. But that hamstring said, go if you want to. And for me, not for me, but usually when muscles cramp up like that, or they don't feel good when they're being stretched, it's a sign that they are dehydrated because your muscles are about 60% water. So if you're an older person, your muscles cramp a lot, or they, get too stretched out, even though you stretch, you may want to hydrate. And it's mind blowing how my clients will come to me with these these issues. Coach, and this has happened. And coach, this happened. I'm like, did you drink water? And they're like, it's not dehydration. And then they just keep telling me what's going on. And then I'm like, so did you have any water? And they're like, actually, no. And I'm like, it's dehydration. This happens a lot, with random things. And this isn't for me to flex, I know it all. I'm just saying these little foundational things that you could do for your health are a fucking game changer. But we all I made a post that's going to piss people off. And I was like, is the holistic psychologist, was she tripping? Or are people too sensitive? Because the post that was made was that a proper diet, exercise, water, sunlight, whatever could help most. I think they did say cure, so I can see why people got mad. But basically it was this could cure a lot of depressions. And holistic psychologists just commented this is true. Everybody lost their shit and da-da-da. And I lost a bunch of followers too because they're like, you holistic people this, you holistic people that. And I want to, can we just for one motherfucking moment, there are people who are like, I'm tired of Western medicine. It doesn't work. It's a scam. Meds, big pharma, healthcare industry is a scam, this and that. So then we have an alternative, which is a holistic method, which is, hey, let's work on your health, the foundation of your health, and then let's see how your body works when you give it proper food, rest, sunlight, stress management. Let's just see how your body responds to that, right? For a lot of people, it works. And if you ask doctors about the kind of people that survive cancer and other kind of things that take a huge toll on people's body, it has to do with their mindset and then also their health. One of my clients who was going through chemo while training with me and started training with me after chemo, doctor was like, what were you doing? She's like, I never stopped working out. This woman's in her 60s. She got purple hair and everything. She's part of the purple crew. She's cool like me. But what I'm saying is, too often we're just so quick to throw our hands in the air like, oh, it's hereditary, oh, it's genetics, I can't help it, oh, it's my hormones. And it's like, all these things may be true. And what are you doing about it to rectify or help the situation? Yes, I have ADHD. Yes, I'm bipolar, manic depressive. And what am I doing in my daily life to make sure that this stuff is under wraps? Having routines. I had to start doing, not had to, but doing my podcast again was a game changer because it gave me structure in my days now that I'm not working at a studio and training people in person anymore. That structure helps my ADHD. When it comes to my bipolar disorder, the sunlight, the walks, the dogs. And so for you who may be struggling with weight loss, insulin resistance, hormonal issues, something that's making it harder for you to lose weight, what are you doing about it, baby girl? What active part are you doing? Saving workouts is not being active. It's actually pretty passive. The active part would be going to do the workout or committing yourself to a program, which will be something we talk about probably Wednesday. So, all right, let's talk about meal prep because we have spent more time on me lecturing y'all about meal prep than the actual meal prep. So let me take notes to myself so I know where we actually started talking about meal prep at. 19 minutes and 40 seconds into the podcast, girl. All right, meal prep made easy. This is how I go about meal prepping, and it is very easy, and it's not something that you need to get overwhelmed with. Number one, pick your 3 proteins. If you're someone that's a vegetarian, it's not my area of expertise, but if you've been a vegetarian long enough, you will be able to swap this out. All right, so number one, pick your primary protein source. If you are a vegetarian or a vegan, and yours could be, I don't think edamame is quite enough to be your main dish, but I would go with some sort of tofu. I would go with maybe your mushroom or your artificial meats. If you've been in the game long enough, you have a plethora of meats and things that you go to. Or some of you are maybe doing ground turkey or chicken or pescatarian, whatever. Pick your protein sources, and I want you to pick 2 to 3 of them. And I want you to pick 2 to 3 protein sources, and I want you to season them all differently. If you're prepping for multiple people, then you can get even more fun. But if it's just you, maybe 2 pieces of chicken, shrimp, and you're going to season your shrimp 2 different ways, and then maybe ground turkey. right? Whatever. I'm going to just walk you through how I do mine. So I got my 3 meats. Some of my meat, because I'm cooking for a house, it's not just for me. So I'm going to season some of my chicken with lemon pepper. I'm going to season some of my chicken with like a rub or barbecue sauce. And I'm going to season the other chicken, with tahini or something for taco night. And then, and this is so my taste buds don't get bored and so my brain gets excited every day instead of like barbecue chicken again. So then I'm going to air fry some of the chicken. I may bake some of the chicken, or I may grill it, or I may cook it all the same way. It depends on how much time I have. And you may be thinking, this is a lot. If you are not here yet, just pick your 3 proteins, season them up, put them in the air fryer. Pick your 3 proteins, walk over to the grill in your neighborhood. Hopefully your grill works unlike mine, and go grill them. Grilling is my favorite way to meal prep meat, because then when you put it in the Tupperware, it just sits in the juices and you can taste it all week, and it is amazing. So anywho, pick your 3 proteins and season them up differently so that you have something to look forward to and so that your taste buds don't get tired of you. Number 2, the next thing that I do is I pick my carbs. If you're doing a low carb diet, you could just have your vegetables and then have your meat and your vegetables. But for those of us that are trying to do body recomposition, which is most people who have 50 pounds or less to lose, 50 pounds or less, body recomposition, maybe, whatever. Anywho, that's, again, questions for another time. Carbs that are easy to make while your meat is grilling. You can boil some egg noodles, which I highly recommend because egg noodles are made from eggs. So instead of just regular pasta, it already has protein in it. You're welcome. You can boil some egg noodles. You can microwave sweet potatoes and or baked potatoes, or bake them. So right there, that's already 3 different sides. Or you can go the rice route and have your rice on there, boil your little water, 20-minute rice, boom. Either way, pick 2 to 3 carbs that will go well with those sides that you had. And then last but not least, some people skip this, pick your vegetable. I like to saute some spinach. That's very easy. I usually saute my spinach in the same pot or the skillet that I may have cooked meat in, or that I baked the meat in, just so I can get some of that juice in there from the South. Anywho, so we saute spinach. Microwave vegetables are great too, because they are. Fun fact, I remember when I first started training and people were like, I don't want to microwave my veggies because, and I'm like, because it does what? Can't be any worse than McDonald's. Get on my face. Microwave your veggies. It's okay. I'd rather you have microwaved veggies than no veggies. So microwave veggies, that could be broccoli, that could be mixed veggies, that could be whatever you want. We're kind of boring when it comes to veggies, and we eat them because we have to, unless it's like a special meal that I have prepared, like maybe Brussels sprouts with some balsamic glaze, whatever. You know what I'm saying? When I'm on my chef game. But other than that, that's how I keep it simple. And then once you have all your foods out, you can mix and match. So now you can have some chicken, egg noodles, and broccoli. I know that's super boring. Or one day you can have salmon, you can have baked potato, and then you have mixed veggies. Or you have ground turkey, put it with the egg noodles, and then mix it with the mixed veggies. When you do it like this, you can have a variety every single day, and then that way you don't get bored. So when I meal prep, I don't put everything, I don't divide it rephrase that. There's sometimes where I mix and match automatically so it's ready to go. Or I'll put all the meat into one big container. So the juices, all the steak juice. I forgot steak is probably one that we do every week. We don't usually have a week without steak. Shit. My girlfriend's anemic. She needed that iron. Anywho, so you put your meat in your thing, and then, your vegetables. So your vegetables, you can keep it all separate, or you can plan them out so it looks all pretty on Instagram. But either way, keep it simple. And this is how I meal prep. Not every single week, because I don't feel the need to meal prep every single week. There's weeks where, like right now, I'm going to be home and I don't mind cooking, so I don't mind doing that. I use meal prepping when I know that there's going to be a very busy time in my life, because it just makes sense. Like if graduation week, or if we're in crunch time, then I'm going to meal prep, especially if I don't want to be spending a lot of money. You can meal prep to save money. Get a big old bag of rice from Costco or Sam's Club, 50-pound bag of rice. That is a game changer. Getting those egg noodles, the bags by the case, that'll help you out too. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why meal prepping would be a good idea for you, especially in this economy, but it's not mandatory. It is not mandatory. Well, I know in the beginning I started and I was talking about how you not taking a hold of your nutrition is going to really impact your fitness journey. And this is true. Meal prepping isn't the only way to get a hold of your nutrition, but as you're learning to log food, look at measurements, look at weights, and start to understand it, it's a perfect way to get you there. And also it saves time. It's going to take up time on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, whatever. Get yourself a glass of wine, bring your family over, just do the cooking and just make it like a thing instead of a chore, because this is going to be the rest of your life, whether you're meal prepping or you're cooking healthily. or you're ordering from a service. But either way, unless you plan on ordering from a meal prep service for the rest of your life, this is something that has to happen. And I know we're busy. I know we have a lot on our plates, but just imagine if you don't do this now, it's never going to go away. There's people that have been overweight their whole lives, and I'm on Reddit and I'm reading where they're coming from so that I can truly understand what it's like to be someone that has struggled with it their entire life. And the one thing that I'm noticing is that the people that get on the other side of it, whether they chose Ozempic or not, all of them admitted that they had to change their lifestyle. The people who got on Ozempic and did not gain the weight back, they're like, I had to get a hold of my lifestyle. Like, there was no way around it. And then you have the people that took Ozempic and are like, I gained all the weight back. And it's like, yeah, because you didn't change your lifestyle. So you can spend your life avoiding learning how to eat properly, just like some people spend their life avoiding learning how to budget and take care of their finances. You will keep running. Best words I heard from somebody I had to quit on the last day of Black History Month. This man told me, he said, because I wasn't going to stay with him in the beginning, because I don't know. He gave me like my first 3 weeks with him. He's like, I don't know if it's going to work out. And I was like, okay. And he's like, that's it? And I was like, yeah, I have my own business. And he's like, well, I think you're a great trainer and I think this is that, but you have this one thing about you that you need to fix, and it's your organization. And if you guys know me and you see how my brain works, yeah, it's fair. And I was like, okay, I'll go work on that. And he's like, well, I want you to think about this because I want you to stay here, but I need you to work on this. And he's like, but if you leave because you don't want to work on this, you'll be running away from yourself the rest of your life. And he said that, and I took the afternoon to think about it, and I was like, all right, I may not agree with you a lot. I think that you're a perv, and I think you're somewhat of an asshole. I didn't say all this, but I was like, but you have wisdom, and I know wisdom when I see it, so I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to learn from you the wisdom that you do have. And so if you may not agree with me, I know a lot of people don't like me, my political views, people think I'm too whatever, but if you don't get anything else from me, hear this. Avoiding these things that people have told you are toxic, tracking calories, avoiding these things, paying attention. This is not toxic. These are things that are going to help you be healthy. So unless you want to be paying for meal prep services for the rest of your life, or unless you want to be paying for meds or paying a doctor to pay the insurance company who's scamming us all, like, there are ways that you can slowly but surely detach yourself away from this capitalistic system that we all hate. But I promise you, it's got to start with here. This was my ticket out. Like, I'm trying to get off the grid slowly but surely every year. And my ticket off the grid was me taking control of my body, my mind, my health, my soul. Because once I did, I became confident. Once I became confident, other doors started opening up to me. After other doors started opening up to me, I started to see there's a whole other ways of living, being, existing that are vastly different from what I was raised. And if that's you, it starts here. It starts with drinking a little water. You'd be surprised how much clarity you have when you take care of yourself. It starts with going your ass to bed at night and not scrolling till you fall asleep. You would be surprised how clear you wake up when your brain isn't inundated with just things on loop. If you're going to go to sleep, listen to something, listen to some affirmations or listen to subliminal, I don't know, man, listen to some water music. But there are little things that we can do in our lives to make our quality of life better and not work against ourselves when we're trying to lose weight. So recap, pick 3 proteins, pick 3 carbs, pick 3 vegetables, season them differently, prepare them differently, mix and match, boom, that's meal prep made easy. Start small. You don't need to cook for the whole week. Maybe just try 1 or 2 proteins or 1 or 2 things for a day, 1 or 2 meal preps at a time. Prioritize your protein. So when you're thinking of carbs or thinking of sides, think of things that have a decent amount of protein in it, like a sweet potato or egg noodles, stuff like that. Edamame. Excuse me. Sauces, I didn't get on this, but sauces, put those on the side because those tend to carry a lot of calories. But those are my tips, my tricks, my hacks, my suggestions as a certified health coach, as a certified nutrition specialist to help you get a hold of this whole nutrition thing. Fitness without nutrition is just you just going through the motions and looking cute while you take your pics. Without the nutrition, you're not giving your body what it needs to recover from the workouts and to keep going. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. I want to challenge you guys to, for the next week, pay attention to how you eat or don't eat. And then at the end of the day, give yourself a daily audit. Were you gassy? Were you energized? Like, what did you notice? How did your body affect you, right? Like how the 6 beers I had this weekend affected my muscles' ability to do what they normally do fine, okay? So take a week, and when we come back next Monday, maybe hop in the comments or even send me a DM like, Coach, I did the weekly like food journal, food log thing, and like I noticed this and that, right? And then last but not least, like if you do some sort of meal prep or anything, tag me if you post it in your stories. Coach Bonds, Mind and Body Fitness. But yeah, we're going to do this together, guys. And then this is the actual last but not least. If you heard all this, you feel overwhelmed by it and you're like, this sounds great, but it's not something that I feel that I can tackle on my own. Please don't feel like you have to. This is not this like you have a job that you know how to do well, and I'm sure you help other people when they come to you. I have a job that I do well and I help other people when they come to me. There's no shame in having someone help guide you. So please let go of the stigma that you're a failure if you have to get help. If you do want to just discuss or learn a little bit more about this, if you're on Facebook, I've dropped the link for my consult in the comments. If you're on TikTok, you can just shoot me a DM or email me at info@mindandbody.co. And if you're watching the podcast, all the links are going to be in the show notes as well. Until next time, I'm your girl, Coach Bonds, and I will see you on the Breakdown with Bonds.